Underground Railroad was a system of passageways including meeting places and safe houses, used to transport slaves from southern states to northern states and Canada where they could be free. This was run by northern abolitionists and free black slaves. The people who aided in transporting slaves were known as conductors, while slaves themselves could be called passengers. Keeping with the theme of figurative railroads, the homes and businesses that held runaway slaves were known as stations or depots. Between 1810 and 1850, it is estimated that nearly 100,000 slaves escaped bondage in the South. The slaves were transported from house to house. Helping slaves escape was a direct violation of the law of the United States Constitution. Many groups, such as the Quakers, also helped join the cause.
The Underground Railroad is a very important part of American history. Once slaves had escaped bondage and gotten to the North, they would either have to find work and keep their head down and hope for the best, or some even traveled farther north on into Canada, where by law they were not allowed to be returned to their owners. Danger was not only faced by the passengers, but the conductors as well. If these conductors were caught transporting slaves, they could be fined hundreds to thousands of dollars, and conductors caught in the South could be imprisoned, whipped, or even hung. That is assuming that they make it to, they aren't killed by the mob.
After the passage of the Fugitive Slave Act in 1850, the Underground Railroad became the center of battle between pro- and anti-slavery states. Legislative compromises during this time attempted to ease tensions between the North and South. Under the Fugitive Slave Act, anyone discovered to be associated with the Underground Railroad would be imprisoned and could be denied trial by jury. With tensions rising and pro-slavery legislation being issued, the Underground Railroad started gaining more support in the North.
The Slave Act of 1850 was an extension of the previous Slave Act of 1793, which was hardly enforced. Under the previous legislation, thousands of slaves had made their way to the North through the Underground Railroad. As more and more slaves escaped north through the Underground Railroad, Southern anger grew immensely. The Fugitive Slave Act of 1850 was an attempt to calm their anger and preserve the Union. Under this newer, harsher legislation, Northerners who helped slaves escape faced much harsher punishments, but this isn't what angered Northerners the most. Now, they would be required by law to assist in capturing fugitive slaves, which clashed immensely with their abolitionist views. As a result, Northern abolitionists doubled their efforts to abolish slavery, and some states, such as Wisconsin and Vermont, even passed legislation meant to bypass and even nullify the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850.
Harriet Tubman is an amazing woman in American history. Not only did she escape the bondage of slavery, but she also returned to assist others. Over a span of 10 years, she made 19 trips in helping over 300 slaves.
By 1856, Harriet Tubman had helped so many slaves make their way up north that a $40,000 reward was in place for her capture. In addition, during the Civil War time, she had helped the North spy for the South to help the Union forces.
Harriet Tubman was born in Dorchester County, Maryland, in 1822, to the parents Ben and Harry. As a slave, she worked both in the house and on the field during her teenage years. She finally broke free and ran away from her plantation in 1849. Harriet used the North Star to make her way up north to Pennsylvania. One of her first trips back was in order to rescue her sister and children. Harriet Tubman is often compared to Moses for the slaves she helped guide up north to freedom.
I freed 1,000 slaves, and I could have freed 1,000 more if only they knew they were slaves.
During the pre-Civil War time period, many historical events helped lead to the higher participation of those who helped free slaves. Events including the Dred Scott case and the Missouri Compromise helped a lot of anti-slavery advocates hop aboard the Underground Railroad. However, there was much backlash faced to the South when in December 1860, following the election of President Lincoln, many states began to secede from the Union. Even some abolitionists cautioned against giving the South any further additional reasons to secede from the Union.